Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let me make sure all my levels are good. Volume is good. Lighting's all right. Okay. We got another week. We got another episode. This is Vader Games TV, the newest episode of Why Always Me. And we're looking at episode 87. Episode 87 of Why Always Me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel in all the many ways that you are doing it. The comments, live and post, appreciated. Actually, I'm seeing my lighting's a little messed up because it's messed with the green. I shouldn't have wore green. But I want to thank the support. It's been amazing. The comments have been huge. I do my best to respond as often as I can, and the feedback has been great. I want to point out that I'm going to get back into being consistent with the shows. Okay, I'm going to be more consistent. 1 week of Why Always Me, 1 week of CIA Intelligent Agendas, and we'll get that popping. If you're here because of Twitter, fantastic. If you're here because you saw the notification on YouTube, even better. And if you happen to be new, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss the next show. On top of that, share this. Share this in all of the social platforms that you happen to be in. It means a lot. It helps the channel tremendously, and we're getting there. We're building on this. We're getting the views. We're getting the support, and more importantly, we're having the conversation. Now, I got to do this. I got to do it proper. All right, I got to do it proper. First things first. My peoples come first. My peoples in the comments. My people supporting the channel. My people that are able to join the show and be a part of it. And speaking of joining the show, I'm going to be able to have Pitch Points, Gundelorian, Carl on the show. His channel details are in the description. Make sure you click on that. We're going to have a fantastic conversation. But this is what we're going to go through. We're going to go through all these topics that you see right there, all those topics. We're also going to have the conversation with you in the chat. All right. And I have to point this out. Those may disagree. Maybe those may agree. But as I see things right now, 2023, 2024, the 2023 season is going to be the toughest title defense ever. And we're going to speak about that later on in the show. Let me go to the very first comments. Shout out who's in the building first, because every week I got to shout out who's showing that love, who's showing that support with the very first comment. And in the building today, Dre P is the first in the building. It looks like it could be the toughest. Best attitude will be to welcome the challenge. Dre P, I'm not saying I'm worried about this. I know it's going to be the toughest. I don't think anyone's going to really back down, but we got to acknowledge that this is going to require a lot. It's going to require the most asked of the team to date. Let me also point out next we got Super Silva. He's here from Twitter. Thanks for letting me know. I'm trying to figure out where people kind of come through, where there's notifications. It'll help me try to improve and get the word out. And he goes, Super Silva, win panel. Trust me, the panel is going to be awesome today. The panel is going to be awesome, depending on everyone getting in here. But let me do a proper intro, and then I'm going to welcome in my man, Gundelorian, Pitch Points, Carl. So let's do this proper. Let me show you a little bit of where I'm from. And I want to welcome my man, Gundelorian. How you doing today? Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Hope you're well.
I'm good. Of course, man. This summer, I can't complain about this summer. I know people may think I'm exaggerating, but I am still celebrating this incredible season that we just had, and I got no complaints. I got no complaints at all.
I haven't stopped celebrating, man. I can't even get into the whole transfer and who's buying, and so I don't care.
It's a struggle. It is a struggle, man. It's a struggle.
It's just yeah. I'm still celebrating. I'm still high on that win on June 10th.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Rivals obviously can't relate, but why should they? Because they need to be focusing on this upcoming season because of what we just had. But us as a fan base, it's hard, man. It's hard to kind of come off of this high. And I want to point out that I'm actually going to skip ahead to this one topic a little early, and I'll come back to it. But the way that we won our first Champions League is really why this celebration is as long as it is. And I'm gonna go to the comments, but I think you'd agree that it wasn't like it wasn't like we just snuck in and won this Champions League. It wasn't like it was a season of like tremendous inconsistency and we just scraped it. It was like a season where the progression was there, the fight continued to be shown from the players, the manager, the fans, and it was just almost like this was completely earned. And when you have an accomplishment like that, you gotta you gotta soak it in. You gotta take it for all that it is. And I think that's a big part on why I feel this celebration is going to go right to the end of even after preseason. I think preseason will happen, and then it won't really kick in until now we're in season mode with the first game being the Community Shield. But I won't spend too much time on this, and I'm gonna get to the comments. Trust me.
Billy, can you hear me clearly?
I hear you now. Yeah, were you talking before?
It's much better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got put my mic on. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you sounded a little distant. Now you're very clear.
Okay, good, good.
I want to point this out, and those of you in the chat, stop me if I've maybe said this too many times already, but it's something that keeps coming to mind, and maybe it's because of my interaction, socials and not just amongst my friends, and some of the debates that we have and conversation. And again, they're friends, so I have it often, and it's not malicious. Sometimes it's just it's just one upping each other. But I tell them, and it seems like they try to rewrite history, but I tell them that the big red clubs, and when I say the Reds, I mean, the Uniteds, Liverpools, and to a lesser degree, but obviously in there, Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah.
Yeah. The Reds as a club, as a foundation, as a group, when they saw Chelsea and the momentum that they had with how aggressively they came to compete, when they saw that there was going to be another player at the table being City, I tell them this all the time, and they try to play dumb, I think, but they have to know the Reds never, and still to this day, don't want us at the table, don't want another competitor that they've got to jostle with and clear room with, using their elbows and making space. They really don't want City at this table. And I find it frustrating for them to play dumb and not acknowledge it, because there's so many things in front of us every day, whether it's how things are being represented in the media, how quote unquote these titles or these how things are titled and narrated with regards to our club happen to be. And I am at the point where I don't want it to change. Like as I say this, it's not that I want it to change. I just want the acknowledgement to be there, that it's there. If that makes any sense. I know that the fight is going to continue on. I just don't like when my friends and some of my quote unquote rival fans say that it's all in my head. There's not a Reds against City, or no one is really opposed to City. Am I talking crazy? Am I making sense with what I'm trying to say here?
Well, if we go back to the interview that I believe Guardiola had when those charges came forward, where he talked about the fact that after the whole UEFA situation, where a number of clubs wrote to UEFA to remove City from the Champions League before the verdict was given. So in their minds, they had proven City to be guilty before the verdict was given. In England, they talk about you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Right.
right? So you assume that person is innocent. They didn't do that. They actually wrote to UEFA because they were in fifth and sixth position. They were out of the Champions League spot. They were under threat before the season ended. They wrote to UEFA to remove City from the Champions League for next season after.
Mm.
So it's not some myth. It's true. It's a fact. These guys do not want the club to be amongst them. Now, unfortunately for them, there's nothing they can do about that, because at the end of the day, what happens on the pitch determines what rewards you get. Not
Yeah.
in the boardrooms,
Fair.
not in dark alleys or in restaurants smoking cigars with the Reds. It's get on the field, it's watch the football, which the whole world can see.
Right.
That determines your status, period.
Right.
Now, our rivals should be happy with City winning the Champions League, because all of a sudden England has a better coefficient than most other leagues, which means that in 24-25, the Premier League gets 5 spots in the Champions League and not 4.
I like that. I like that, Carl. Ooh, I
So the
like that.
fact that City have been in the UCL for the past 10 years and doing well, and has the highest coefficient of any English club in the past 15 years in the Champions League, you should be grateful and thanking us, because we gave you an extra spot in the Champions League. Instead of 4, it's now 5. You should be thanking us and giving us praise. Because if not, your sorry ass will be in 5th space out of the Champions League spot again.
Mm.
These are facts.
So, okay, I don't want to. Okay, so what would that have been the case if any other English team had won? Like it's because we would have been rewarded with 5.
Because City have been, and Liverpool to be fair, and Chelsea to some extent, right?
Yeah.
But the coefficient that UEFA has given us, the points that we have, I believe we're the best in Europe in terms of points coefficient. I think we're 135 or so. I think Bayern is next. Madrid is next with 132 or 128 or something.
Gotcha.
But because we've been there every season, semifinals, final, quarterfinals, round of 16, we built the numbers up.
I'm with you now. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Chelsea weren't always there.
Yeah.
Neither were Liverpool, who are out now in Europa League. But because we're being consistent in there, we get the points accumulation, and we have the biggest effect on the coefficient in the past couple of years.
Okay. No, I'm with you on that one. And you know what? I want to layer on this. I want to layer this on as well, because I find it comical on how much hate City has received with regards to its come up. And yes, they want to talk about since the ownership, and many rival fans want to be lazy and say you were nothing until Sheikh Mansour. Okay, whatever. But what I want to point out, and what I find funny, that many other clubs, whether it's the Reds that didn't want us at the table, or the others that want to throw stones at us that haven't been as successful as them, but City should be seen more like a Rocky story, right? More like dare we say, rags to riches story. If we want to say from the gutter to the high rise, if they want to look at things like that, because not many clubs can have the established or journey of a Liverpool or United with regards to, or I'm going to throw in Arsenal as well. But in terms of some of the success that they had in the 70s, 80s, 90s, right? Like, and even if we want to go even earlier than that, because obviously Arsenal were successful in like the 1930s or things of that nature. And yes, we've had success in in the late 60s, 70s with regards to what we were doing, but in terms of consistency. But what I want to point out is, if you have a club like Newcastle established, they were very good. They fell off, had their difficulties, ownership and whatnot. But to see where City has gotten to, that should be more of a come up story, more of a feel good story for all the other clubs that want to aspire to this level of greatness. And maybe it's because I've got my blue shaded glasses on as a Manchester City fan.
No, I mean let's be very forensic. Let's be clear, right? I mean, everybody likes a great story, right? Everybody likes a great story as long as it doesn't affect them. As long as that story doesn't take your spot, it's a good story. As long as you don't win anything, it's a great story. As long as your rivals, it's a great story in 2011, 2012 when City won the league, because United didn't win the league, and everybody doesn't like United, right? And United was a dominant force in the Premier League. Everybody likes that story. You
Right.
can win it once. That's fine. No problem. Okay, you got some owners who are rich, give you money. Fine, fine. They won it once. Okay, last minute, great drama. Great. But when you start to win again
Mm.
and again and again and again and again, and then you win 4 trophies in England, never been done before. And then you get 100 points, never been done before.
Right.
And then you go and win the Champions League. And then with that, you not only win the Champions League and the Premier League, you're not throwing the FA Cup for as a bonus.
Yeah.
No one's going to like you.
Yeah. You
Nobody's
know
going
what?
to like you.
Yeah, we went from being, in 2012, it was like the Leicester story, a one-off. Hey, everyone can clap. Oh, great job. But to your point, when it's just been consistent, and now you're pushing some of those established clubs out of the way to want to again compete and be at the table.
There's a book. There's a book I recommend that and I talk about this a lot on Twitter when I see all these rivals talk about stuff that happened in the past,
Mm,
and I talk about the fact that the cheese has moved. There's a book called Who Moved My Cheese. I believe
okay.
it's Malcolm somebody, or maybe I'm not sure with it, but Who Moved My Cheese? And the book talks about the fact that many times in our lives, in our organizations, changes happened. The cheese has moved. We're still clinging on to the cardboard of the past, expecting
Mm,
things to be the same. Meanwhile, things have moved. Once the cheese has moved, you have to move to where the cheese is, essentially,
okay. Oh,
right?
Spencer Johnson is the author.
Spencer Johnson, right? You
Okay.
have to move to where the cheese is. You have to evolve quickly. You have to recognize where you are, recognize your issues, and then adapt to that very quickly.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I'm gonna look that up. You know what? I'm gonna educate myself on that one as
I mean,
well.
I'll give you an example of that. So I was having a debate with this guy on Twitter today about the Community Shield time change, the FA.
Mm,
Right, a lot of City fans are complaining about the FA, the time, 5 o'clock. So the FA agreed to move it by 1 hour, 1 hour up to 4 o'clock or 4:30, an hour more.
mm-hmm.
And so fans are still complaining. I get it. I sympathize with them. But think about yourself as the FA, about the revenue side. And we know the FA is not very rich. In 80,000, 90,000 fans fill the Wembley Stadium, fine. That time slot, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock p.m., is right smack center between East and West in terms of prime globally. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Think about the TV deals and the TV eyes that'll be on that game. You have 80,000, 90,000 Wembley versus what, 3, 4, 5, 6 million across the world in terms of revenue. Where's the revenue at? Revenue is global. So the FA are struggling to get a game at that point in time. It's not because they hate the fans, it's because they need the money. And the money comes from, unfortunately, from the TV. Fans
Mm,
who want to watch Arsenal City first game of the season at Wembley at 4 o'clock, which is what 11 p.m. Eastern time, maybe 8 p.m. or so Beijing time, or 9 p.m. Beijing time. It's a perfect scenario for the FA to make money off of. The cheese has moved. The
mm.
ways in which we used to watch games before, where the loyalties were around the fans, that days are really, really gone. Don't believe me? Go check out what happened on the COVID.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
No, I
and
see the
these are the
point there.
arguments that I make many times where a lot of us are still stuck in the past of how things used to be. No, it used to be this way. We're going to fight and complain. When the reality of the 21st century that things have evolved very quickly, the dynamics have changed, and we have to recognize that and figure
Mm.
out a way to work with that. That's all I'm
Fair
saying.
point. Yeah, it's a fair point. And with a lot of that, it needs to be a managed of almost how's the saying go? Serving two masters, right? So obviously there's the global appeal with regards to what they're trying to connect with because of that broadcasting revenue that you mentioned, and then there's also that match going fans where from a large participation or involvement in terms of attendance, they've got to make it balance right. But yeah, I'm with you on that one, and I know that there's a few things moving around with regards to timing and date. Let me go to the comments. Um, oh, did I? Oh, sorry, 1 second. Oh, 1 second. MCFC 9320 podcast. If you have not, if you have not linked them up, make sure to do that. He goes, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, then please do it. Great guy, great content. Thank you so much. And do the same. Do the same to MCFC 9320. You got to do it. You got to do it. He also says, evening, mate. Ethan goes, hello. Ethan in the building. Ethan, what? Just get Ramos. What are you talking about, Ethan? Ethan, what are you? Give me some more clarity on just get Ramos. I'm not sure what you mean here. Also, let me go back to this earlier comment. Edison, my apologies. On Sunday, I was running mad late in terms of getting back with the kids. I did not ditch you. My bad. But hit me up on PSN. We can always get that game. And you saw, I'm still kind of nice. I'm still kind of nice with it. Ask Martin. But yeah, we'll get back into that 100%. All right, let me go here. Next, actually, I want to make this nice and clean as I do these.
Vader game.
Now, the next topic, and it kind of just feeds into the next one because this is what I found to be amazing and why I could have never dreamt of this, never asked of this. And with all of the hardship, with all of the difficult times, past Champions Leagues, us as a team falling short, us as a fan base maybe not being patient, but with what just happened and how, and I have to stress this, how we won the Champions League. The fact that it was a three-peat trouble, we are three-peat trouble winners. I have to say it was the best way to win. It was the best way to win and to sit at this table from, again, this may seem a little rival heavy with regards to some of the things I'm talking about early in the show, but when you had rivals that would chant in your own stadium, European champions, you'll never sing that. When you had them carry on and hold that over you for years and years and years, the fact that you had some of the heaviest hitters, some of the heaviest rivals, Reds pointing out, well, two of the three Reds, because Arsenal weren't talking this way. But when you had the Liverpools and the United saying, you've never won Champions League, you don't know what that's about, you ain't that club, can't sit at the same table with us. And honestly, it was never for us to want to sit at the table. We weren't doing this to have to go sit at the table. We wanted to win it for ourselves. But if there's an invitation, if there's an exclusion because you haven't gotten there yet, right? If there's a distinction between large and small, accomplished, not accomplished, the way we won a three-peat, not many other clubs in the Premier League era have been able to do that. Who have been able to do that? Just one, United. The fact that we are also able to do a treble, not many clubs, and I see my man Adam, I'm going to bring him on stage shortly. Not many clubs have been able to do the treble. I think the only other one is in the Premier League era, obviously, is United. But a three-peat treble made so many rivals have to zip it. Made so many rivals had to bite their tongue. Made so many rivals had to just shut their mouth because you can't talk to us anymore. You can't say we ain't sitting at that table anymore when there's a three-peat. One other club's done it, Primera. Obviously, it's been done in the English League, of course. But in the Primera, one other club. Treble, one other club. Champions League, right? Many clubs have won the Champions League, but the way we've done it, we're sitting at the table and we're sitting confidently, chest high. And now what? Now what? Don't talk about that. Let's now talk about football. Let's move on beyond this silly pettiness. And if we want to get petty, we could get petty, but that's not how we generally move as City fans. Let's be real about it. Adam, my guy, Adam is on the front lines fighting often with regards to some of the banter, some of the trash talk that happens, and I want to bring him into the mix. I want to ask you, Adam, how has life changed for you with regards to how you're dealing with some of these rival battles? Adam, if you're there, you're on stage. If not,
Hi there, can you hear me?
hey, I
Is the
hear you
mic
loud
a
and
lot
clear.
better?
Yeah, no,
Is my mic a lot better?
the mic is better, Adam. I see this three-peat trouble now. This success has got you.
Let me
with
turn
this
on
mic.
my camera because I got this.
Oh!
You see?
Adam with the camera.
Is this small one? Wait, I can't see anything in the light.
No, it's because you got the light behind you, so it's all good. It's
Yeah.
all good. Ah, you're clear now. No, you're
Yeah,
good. You're good.
but
And
it's great.
and your life, the noise in your life is quiet. I know nothing else
Yeah.
is happening in the background. Good. How you been, man?
Yeah, I've not been bad, man. I've just been busy with work, hectic,
Okay.
non-stop. But other than that, I've not been like what other City fans just crying and say, oh, they want Cheeky out, they want this next man out. This it's like I'm pretty much
Wait.
calm
Hold
about
on,
this
hold on.
transfer window.
Are you serious about City fans wanting Cheeky
Yeah,
out?
I've seen plenty of I've seen plenty of rubbish on my timeline.
Oh my goodness! I'm glad I'm
Like
not seeing that.
I've not been on Spaces, but I've seen through my timeline where people are complaining. I had some City fan. I said to him, listen, why? No offense, but sorry for my language, but I said to him, why are you bitching and moaning? Let the club do the club will do what's best for us. And I've always have the confidence. Like I'm pretty much like Carl. Yeah,
It's too early to
whatever
do
the
that. It's too
whatever
early.
the club does, I'm 100% supporting. I'm patient. Like some people are throwing a tantrum about, why is this Gavadio deal not done?
Oh my goodness.
I'm chilled.
Okay. Here I thought not only us being nice and calm, I thought the large portion of the fan base would be nice and calm. But nah, all right, you give me a good perspective. Let me go to MCFC. He says next season we will win 4 on the bounce, but I agree it will be the toughest defense we have had. Wow. I haven't come across.
Later, and that's what I said. But Patrick told me to shut up. So I need us to win the quadruple, and I can
Whoa,
throw
whoa,
pie at
whoa,
Patrick's
whoa,
face.
whoa. See, this is
Because no,
even
you know
I.
it is. You know it
Hold
is,
on,
Victor.
Adam. One sec. One sec.
I
Adam.
said to Patrick, yeah, go
One sec.
ahead.
I, the the confidence for us to go out and win a 4. I'm winning. I mean, I want that for the club, 100%. The talent, the experience. I'm with you. MCFC, I'm with you. Adam, I'm with you. Adam quad talk, like slow down, but I'm with you. The I think the holding back to proclaim that we're doing 4 is like, I don't know, after the transfer window possibly. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, like why you already how are you already talking quad, Adam? Explain
You
that to
know
me.
it is, Victor. I blame, generally speaking, I blame Carl for the influence. You know why? Because this year he said, "Oh, we're doing something special." So I blame Carl. He somewhat. I'm not gonna lie. He somewhat influenced me, and now
Okay.
I'm saying that we're gonna
No.
win the quadruple in a sense. So I give the blame in a good way because of Carl. I blame Carl in a good way.
Okay. All right. In a good way. I'm with you. I'm with you. I remember Carl Early saying, "You know what? This is going to be a special season." I'm going to go back. And I love the fact that I've got old videos to be able to keep them. I don't delete them. But I I did say when we got Holland, I said between Holland and Pep's time here, I thought that he would have accomplished, or he would have given us one of the best seasons ever. And I alluded to the best seasons that any fan has ever had in the Prem, right? So obviously Arsenal fans, they would say Invincibles, United fans would say Trouble. Um, I'm gonna go back and get that video because what did Pep, the addition of Holland, obviously all the players on the squad, but the fact that we filled a role that we didn't have before, and we had this type of season. I'm confident like you guys. I'm just not ready to say 4 on the bounce, quadruple, or even trouble back to back. Dre P goes, "Yup, statement win. Truth be told, City has been racking up statement wins for a few years now. 100 points, domestic trouble, and now trouble with a three-peat success that is historically great." And again, I love this. I love this for so many reasons, Dre P, because we're living through some of these historical moments, and there's nothing to be shameful about great moments happening now. You, every fan, whether they've had past histories, you want to go back in a day. Every fan would want to their club of today to exceed what's been done in the past, because what's being done. This is the amazing part, JP. What's being done is exceeding historical moments of other clubs. So it's not like we're celebrating, you know, it's not like we're celebrating moments that aren't quite monumental in terms of scale with regards to some of the other clubs' success. This is, to your point, record setting, never seen before, exceeding what's been done by greats. We got to be proud of this. I see Martin Mancunian Way. He goes by many names, Trouble Father as well. He's in the mix. I'm gonna bring him to the stage shortly, but witnessing greatness that exceeds greatness of other clubs is phenomenal. We should have great pride in it. Martin in the mix. Welcome to the show today. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I hope all's well with you. All's well with the family, and great to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, not bad, mate.
Sounds
Hello
good.
to everyone else. Hope everyone else is good.
Yeah, I think they're multitasking. I know Carl tends to jump in on the show while also tackling some work, so he's on mute right now. And Adam's got a new mic. He's got camera. Like his background surroundings are nice and quiet. He's moving like a three-peat trouble winner. Things are nice right now. I can't complain for him. I think he's ecstatic. Dre P also has to say, City fans should not get so over the top and emotional. Enjoy the success. Tiki and all have been brilliant, even if they don't win every year and every transfer doesn't get pulled off. Straight P, I'm with you. I'm with you. I know it's going to be a fight. The beauty about having the success and being so consistent like we have is that for others to want to compete, they've got to raise their game up. They got to raise their game up. And the fact that we just won a three-peat, psychologically, what Pep's going to have to tap into to get these players motivated is going to be a challenge in itself. Another thing is also managing, not so much because it's arm length, but even from a fan base standpoint, like how the PR team, how the media team are going to have to move, how they narrate what happens throughout this year is going to be very important too, because some of these fans may just be in a I'm used to this mode. I'm accustomed to this. So there's going to be a lot of challenges this year. But I hope everybody.
Before I go, Vade,
Yeah.
I'll be back in 10 minutes. But I've just seen a lot of stuff on Twitter. I'm like, did we just lose the Premier League, Champions League, and FA Cup, or did we win it? Did we lose everybody from the club? Are we running around with the academy on the field? Has the season started? Have we not learned anything from this manager and this board? Why are we freaking out? Someone was freaking out about, oh, who's leaving or who's coming. What did you expect to happen? Change is a good thing. It's normal.
Yeah.
Gundogan is great. He left. Okay. He's a great captain, scored lots of goals, but we began to see deficiencies. Think about the game against Brighton away. Think about the game against Madrid where Camavinga blows past him and he can't catch up. They're there. It's the signs are there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Riyad Mahrez is 30-something?
Yeah.
The signs are there. It's time to refresh sometimes. Laporte didn't get a game. He's not good at 1v1 defending. He's great build out, but we changed our system. The signs are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we cannot trust Pep and the board after a treble, I'm sorry, man. I've given up.
No, don't give up.
I've just given up.
I think the case is, unfortunately, some need to be spoon-fed with here's the problem, here's the solution, as opposed to seeing that it's going to be a work in progress. This season is going to be a work in progress.
My worry is, and Trevor Father talked about this a lot, right? And the more I think about it, I mean, if we don't win next season, you're going to have people melting down like crazy because you didn't win a trophy.
Oh no! If they do, I'm going to have to be. This channel in itself is going to be the voice on the opposite end.
We should be.
There can't be any meltdowns, fans. No, City fans, there cannot be any meltdowns. If we fall off a cliff and we happen to be 18th, 19th in the league, okay.
No, to be fair, I don't think it's going.
It's not going to go there. But that would be the only acceptance for a meltdown, is what I'm trying to say. That would be the only case for a meltdown. If we happen to fall off, because again, everyone's going to be strengthening, and for us to replenish, maybe it's one step back in terms of trying to manage the season, to be two steps ahead the following, and then we go on again and at these levels. So
I'll be back in 10 minutes.
No, you got to go. I'll welcome you back when you're back. Thanks, man.
Okay, yeah.
So Dre P goes, we should be confident, but not like those spoiled, entitled fans that we see so often. we can't be entitled. We have to understand that this is sport. What do we expect our opponents to do? And my lighting's starting to get messed up. What do we expect our opponents to do? Our opponents are going to strengthen. They're going to get better. And on this show, we're going to talk about the landscape, what's happening with regards to some of the movement, the Saudi League, and some of the transfers that are happening this window. Everyone is strengthening. Trust me. No, you think Klopp wants a 4-peat on his head top? No. You think United? Yes, they got Ten Hag. We'll see what level he's at this year. Is where I think he gets judged, or is where I'm going to judge him. But you think United want a 4-peat? You think they want to witness a 4-peat? So everyone's strengthening to kind of prevent this. It's going to be a battle, the toughest ever. Let me see.
But later, I can
Yeah,
make
go
an
ahead.
argument that they can strengthen, but yeah, you're coming up against, like what Kai likes to say, you're coming up against the man in a sense, who's a madman in Pep Guardiola, and it's not easy coming up against the guy who's a Frankenstein of a manager. Every single detail, yeah, has to be a particular way,
I
and
know,
so like
but Frankenstein.
they could strengthen, but
But
it could still be difficult for them.
Dr. Frankenstein still needs his body parts. He still needs tools. He still needs all those ingredients to be able to do his thing. So it's interesting on the rumored players that are leaving. It's interesting to see who's going to remain. Even when I talk about our young players, when I talk about our more veteran players, and obviously some of the offerings out there, it's going to be a tough season. I want to shout out FCFC wants to say, forget Invincibles. Name a Premier League team that has got 100 points. There hasn't been any. There hasn't
Vader,
been any
not even look, like I'm not
other than
taking away
ourselves.
what United have done. Yeah, their trouble with. Yeah, they did not even that great side team did not even get more. I think they didn't even get more than 90 points. I think, if I'm correctly speaking, to win that trouble.
Yeah. No, I think if you line up both trouble winning teams, City's the more impressive one. I think when you definitely go into the nitty gritty and you want to do the comparison, but this is where, and I've heard this argument from rivals, right? Like, oh, we did it first, so who cares that you did it? Okay, but when you did it, it wasn't in 4K. When you did it, it wasn't with all of these platforms that now have people having it come across their face or them living it on all different platforms. Like the reach of accomplishments in today with regards to sports, it hits different. It hits different living in the moment with these social media platforms. And honestly, those that want to try and gauge it from the back in the day generation, they're not going to comprehend the impact of it. It's different now, and I think when you really want to kind of break it down and think of the influence that it has, you're living under a rock or you're ignoring the signs. And this also leads to what's kind of happening with regards to our academy and our youth players. You're ignoring the fact on everything that makes Manchester City so attractive right now. United had their run, Liverpool had their run, Arsenal had their run. City able to maintain at this level, be consistent, it's going to have the impact on how the, I'm going to say, older generation look at those clubs. When they look at those clubs like the Liverpools, like the Uniteds, right? This is what City is doing. That's the impact in terms of I've always known them to be good. That's the type of long-lasting effects that are happening right now. And I love how we got our chance to sit at the table and pull our chair up and say I'm here was done on a three-peat trouble. I'm gonna continue to go to these comments. Dre P goes, "Yep." Oh no, I said that already. Oh wait, did I? Yeah,
I think you read that question. You read that comment.
yeah. I got it messed up. Oh, there we go. Oh, Patrick, my bad. Patrick goes, yo, what's doing my fave poutine merchant? All right, let's slow down. Oh, he said muncher. Nah. Yo, relax. Relax with that. Relax with that. I actually don't enjoy poutine that much. And I'm not a muncher. You got to slow down with that. MCFC goes, agreed. There will be meltdowns from some City fans. Yeah, the meltdowns they better not happen. The meltdowns better happen with some extreme fall off, guys. Seriously. And the transfer window's not over yet. Let's all be patient and walk through this. I'm gonna get to the. What do you got to say, Martin?
After Guardiola, the window will be over for us. Friends. Unless Bernardo goes, it'll be done.
After Gavardiol.
Yeah. If Bernardo stays, we won't sign anyone else.
So, okay.
Question. Do you...
Hold on 1 second, Adam.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
If there are no exits, the team remains the same. However, there are rumored exits for Riyad Mahrez.
Yeah, but they'll replace him with McAtee.
Then
The only one they'll replace is Bernardo.
Huh. All right, you heard that here first from the Mancunian. So Martin, the Mancunian way.
I mean, can I just go back and you just said that there shouldn't be a meltdown, and I totally agree. There 100% should not be a meltdown.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be a meltdown? 1,000% yes.
Okay, there's a
Yeah.
meltdown if we finish. There's a meltdown. You think if we finish second in the league?
Yeah, I saw that. Later, I was sat in the Etihad. We were 2-0 down against Tottenham, and the team got booed off. I have never seen anything like it.
No, but again, let's go back to this. Did the team get booed off, or did that performance to concede the second goal like that? Was it like because sometimes
Even still, it shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
It's a different time. It's a different world.
Gotcha.
It's when you are so used to winning,
So
that becomes the mentality. Like you listen to it now, people are talking 4 peaks, back-to-back Champions Leagues. It's like the picture of a PS5 remote, and away we go again. It's like
the giddiness is there.
What are you doing?
The excitement is high. I know that. But okay.
And the problem is when you set all those expectations, if you don't achieve, it then becomes a failure in their minds.
Okay, so I want to save this for just before the first game of the season, or I should say just before the Community Shield, because I think it'd be interesting to see after more times passed on what we know most fans to expect. Because I want to ask the question down the road: is there a meltdown if we don't win the League Cup? Is there a meltdown if we don't win the league? Because things that happen in progression, right? If there's a meltdown if we don't win the League Cup, is there a meltdown if we don't win the league? Is there a meltdown if we exit out of Champions League? Is there a meltdown if we exit out of the FA Cup?
Let's forget all that because you're throwing trophies. Look at it this way.
Yeah.
Cast your mind back 5 months.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go back 5 months. 5 months, that's it.
Okay.
January time. We were second in the league.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We were second in the league.
Yeah.
We were about 6-7 points off Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what was going on and what was being said? Even Pep was being questioned at that point. And the only reason I remember it is because, like I said, I went on a show, and Patrick was probably on it, and I said, just all calm down. Second is not a crisis. I had people telling me Grealish was the worst footballer in the world, and our football was boring to watch. All we do is go backwards. This is all I got told. This was in January. If I see the ball go backwards again, I'm gonna go mad. Like, what are you moaning at here?
All right, now you're fair in that one. You're fair in that one.
You know, you know how I like to describe us as like some of our fan base, people in our fan base, is that you know that rich spoiled kid that he wants everything on his dad's money. Like he wants I want this car, I want that, and one day when his dad says, you know what, enough is enough, you have to earn it, he throws his toys out the pram. That's how pretty much we are. Is some people in our fan base. It's like when we get told no, or we don't get what we want, we tend to throw our toys at the pram, we throw our dummies out the buggy.
Mate and Adam, remember this? 2 weeks ago, we put a bid in for Declan Rice, and everyone was getting all giddy and getting all excited, and everyone was like, Declan Rice, here we go. City didn't bid for him, and it was cheeky out. I'm like, what am I watching? Has something happened?
Yeah. So
that was only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. It is going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting for us to monitor the meltdown gauge with regards to some of the fan base. I'm in agreement with that one. I think it's.
And there's a lot of big accounts as well, mate. I'm talking huge accounts.
Yeah.
Now,
the only thing, the reason why I'm always hesitant with regards to how I consume some of the big accounts is because my experience, okay? I see how things are titled to provoke a reaction, and then I'll tune in and I'll catch it to see whether it's as consistent to the extreme titling of a show.
I'm talking big podcasters within the Manchester City fandom.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who are locals going absolute psycho because City have not signed anyone yet.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Now, and I'm not going to name him because it's not fair to name him. I'm not going to do that because I think Carl's had some interaction with one or two of them. And I'm not going to go down. There's no point in doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think what it is as fans, we've all gone in, and I will admit, am I concerned? A little. I'm not like panicking, here we go. I have concerns. Only because I think when you are in a position of power, that is the time to strike.
See, we're gonna have a lot more conversations with regards to this because I'm in agreement. When you are in a dominant situation, you're in a controlling situation, you should do your best to maintain it. At the same time, though, I think there's a lot that can be gained to see how your competitors move first. I think as you see that they're jostling, they're positioning to try and better to go up against you, you can watch, monitor, and then react and still have an edge. I think there's a lot of just watching and monitoring and ready to counter with what rivals may do or opposing teams may do. Let me point out Patrick because he had this comment. I want to say this, but he goes, "We've just bathed in the sea of football immortality. Can't be a meltdown so soon." I'm in agreement. Obviously, we know that some fans are going to have the meltdown. The one thing I don't want to hear, and it's going to drive me crazy, if I ever hear a City fan say, "I'm accustomed to my club winning trophies," I'm going tone deaf on you. I'm not listening.
Some are though.
I'm not listening to them.
I totally agree with you, mate. But
club winning trophies. What's happening?
There are 20-year-olds out there who've seen nothing but success.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Even when rival fans were saying this, it still did not compute. I'm accustomed to my club winning trophies. This is sport. There's no accustomed to your club winning trophies because this is sport. You compete.
Oh no, yeah. All eras come to an end. I understand that. And like I said, do you know? I think there's a 2-point attack on this. I think part of the worry, and I've spoke to a few fans. Part of the worry is the charges, because the big worry is on some fans if we get found guilty in whatever,
Yeah.
and for example, they give us a transfer ban,
Mm-hmm.
we are then beyond screwed. Then it is dip into the academy and away we go.
Yeah. Why would we?
Which
screw them?
again, no, I'm talking about you're
Oh,
talking about
how they
competing
proceed.
at that point. Yeah. In terms of, you got to remember, there's some fans that are Manchester City fans because we are competing.
Yeah.
That is just a stone hard fact of reality. The club are looking at extending the stadium to 62,500.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do that with the transfer ban, no new players and a bunch of kids in the team.
Okay.
Whether we like to admit that or we don't want to, you can look at it as a fan like us.
Yeah.
You can look at it from a business perspective like the club will look at it.
Mm.
Now, as far as I'm aware, I think we'll be fine with all the charges. But there are some fans who are thinking, we get a transfer ban, for example, and we've not moved. What do we do then? You're sort of behind the eight ball then, aren't you? And you're in Chelsea's situation where you're blood youngsters. I'd be over the moon with that.
Was it not 1 year though? they had one. Didn't they only have 1 year, or was it a year and a half of no transfer?
No, I think it was a year. It was meant to be 3, but I think they challenged it, and then it got reduced to a year.
No, they definitely got 2 windows. They got a minimum of 2 windows.
Okay. So this could be wrong of me, and I don't even know why I'm even thinking in the negative, right? But I think if there happens to be some of those charges that do stick, I don't think we fall out. I think we experience something similar to Chelsea. Yeah, maybe we don't contend, we don't challenge for titles. I don't think we fall off the map with regards to falling out of the Prem. And then I also think we just kind of like we regroup and then we go back again. Like I don't think it would be that dire, but we'll have to see on this one. Patrick goes, that said, he goes league and Carabao minimum. He goes minimum. I
think that's tongue in cheek.
I agree. He put no laughing emojis, but
Pat's probably still pissed.
maybe. Super Silva goes, where is Patrick, the true City fan? Patrick, timing wise, it's a little difficult. Patrick's working at this time. He checks it, posts, and he watches it. He lets me know with regards to some of the feedback, but he's not here live, unfortunately. Super. 99 treble, won the league with 79 points. Ugh. Absolutely gross.
Yeah.
79 points.
I don't like comparing them because 2 different eras, 24 years apart, totally different eras. Totally different eras.
That's fair.
I honestly think the game's developed so much in 24 years. I don't think you can really compare. I think it's a very hard thing to compare on. Because even sports science has come on leaps and bounds in 24 years.
But this is what I'm saying. If we're going to be objective, if how things improve, science, we're obviously scientifically, sports science wise, player endurance, tactics. This treble has to be better than the last treble. We would never say that, football being played back even in the 70s would be equal to football being played now in terms of, the how now more professional it is. You have full-time players now versus what would have been part-timers. You have players that have maintained their fitness all year round where they may not have done it before. Players don't drink and smoke the way they used to. Like that's the only thing that I kind of get into with regards to the whole thing. But
yeah, no, it's just something I think it's a nulling by that.
I'll say it for you. Our trouble was better.
For me, anyway.
I'll say it for you. Super Silva goes, which one is the greater back-to-back Champions League or 4P Prem League? Ooh. If This is why I'm excited for this season, which is going to be the toughest one ever, if I haven't said that already.
Do you see my point? What I said 5 minutes ago, though. Do you see my point?
I see it. But if we do a 4-peat, oh my gosh, that's gonna be crazy. I gotta wait on that. Patrick goes Rags. We did it first. Blues. We did it better. Facts. That's all we gotta say. We did it better. And I'm saying it for Martin as well. We did it better. Big Morgan.
No.
Big Morgan goes, bye, De Jong. Grealish. Oh, Big Morgan. Nah, he's celebrating. I'll have issue with him if he's not ready to go, the pro that he can be, that he has been, for us when the season kicks in. Let the man celebrate. It's a 3-peat trouble. I'm still celebrating. Big Morgan, you should still be celebrating. Come on. Charlie goes, hey, Vader, watching from the balcony in 39-degree weather? Charlie, you legend. Enjoy that weather, man.
Don't worry, Charlie. In 1 week's time, I'll be throwing that right back at you.
See, keeping up with the Joneses. Patrick goes, if there's a transfer ban, make sure it's for January. I know, right? January transfer window. Oh, La Ciel Bleu, it's been a minute. Good to see you. He goes, this Martin guy. Martin's legit. I like what Martin's bringing to us. Even the perspective, and Adam said this as well, even the perspective that some fans are ready to melt down based off of what's happening right now. It's kind of wild to me. Edison goes, let me know if you're interested in playing after the podcast. I'm free today. Ooh, Edison. You know what, Edison? We might be able to get a couple games in. I got to scoop. I got to go get the kids around 9. But yeah, I'll make that happen. Charlie, but all the players are celebrating. It's just not Grealish who is drunk. That's what I'm saying. All the players are celebrating. They're going on vacay. Players are getting married. Like, it's the off season. They're going to come back pros. And the fact that I think Pep also knows, Big Morgan, Charlie, I think psychologically, mentally, there's something with regards to like mental fatigue, right? I think Pep knows, guys, that was a grueling season. I tapped into the well again for a 3-peat. I know what I'm going to be asking of you this upcoming season. Go and celebrate. Go kick up your feet, get that sun, do it all. Because when you come back, I'm going to be on you guys. Charlie goes, haha, Martin. All right, let me do this.
When you've got a minute, I just want to respond to something else.
Okay.
Vader games.
All right, what you got?
No, it's just listen, I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to keep fans' feet on the floor. Listen, people can dream. I'm just saying, like you just said, I've thought long and hard over this. Yes, we won the treble. I get that. Pep will look at that. When Pep steps in 7 days, well, less than that, in about 5 days, to go to Japan, that treble's in the past now. Finished, history, we go again. If you remember last season, this group of players that we currently have needed a big old kick up the backside come January. Well, I think it was February even, if you remember, which was the Premier League charges.
Yeah.
It gave us the kick up the backside.
Right.
Before then, we were a bit lackadaisical. We were a bit fatigued.
He was calling out players in post-game press conferences before that. Yeah.
Exactly. All I'm saying is, for me, I honestly would have liked a little bit more of a refresh than what it looks like is going to happen. For the simple fact is,
whoa! You would have wanted more changes, or you're saying you wanted? Oh no, you can't say that, Martin, because you know Pep likes a small squad.
Yeah.
So you would want more players leaving and more players coming in.
Well, let me put it this way: I would have liked. For me, I think we needed 2 midfielders.
Okay. So we got to get rid of 2.
Not necessarily, because obviously you're going to lose Laporte. You're going to hopefully lose Cancelo. You're going to lose. We don't know about Martinez. My issue is, if you look at it, Mahrez is 33,
Mm-hmm.
KDB is 32.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Walker's going to be given a new 2-year contract,
I'm
apparently,
happy with
on
that.
bigger wages
I'm happy
on
with that.
at 33.
I'm happy with that. He's not the normal 33, Martin. He's not the normal 33. I'm happy with that. Go ahead.
So, okay, so you can have your little loving with Kyle Walker. But Bernardo Silva's umming and ahhing and won't make a decision.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. I can say I'm one of these people. I like to preempt and get things. I like to stay the course before I can see the car crash coming. If you know what I mean. I want to get in and avoid the car crash before I can see it. And when I mean car crash, I don't mean that as dramatic. I mean as in some of our squad is going to age out before we realise it.
In
Now,
your single days, you
I
would
think
pick
what Martin's trying to somewhat imply is like similar to what Liverpool did, where they failed for several years to somewhat fix that midfield because they saw the midfield aging, but they didn't do nothing about it till now, where now they've somewhat realized, oh shit, we need to
exactly. So what I'm saying is, because Lascelles Blue wants to say I'm waffling. Well, you watched me long enough, Sunshine, to know I don't waffle. Simple fact is, I'm going to sit here and happy clap and go, oh, great, we've signed Kovacic. I think we needed more. That's just my honest opinion. I'm over you, same as teachers. If a teacher has the same class of students, year in, year out, they get bored. They lose motivation.
Okay.
I just honestly thought we needed 2 midfielders before we, and anyway, what we're doing is we're hoping and pinning hopes on players becoming good,
Mm-hmm.
and also making sure that they don't age out. And I'm happy to do that route. I've no problem with that. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. I said to you before, right, and you laugh at me. I'm happy to go without a trophy. Totally happy with it. But I know, because I've experienced it last season, and Patrick was there as well, there will be one hell of a meltdown.
But see, to a certain degree, I hear what you have to say with regards to going a season without a trophy, because you're not saying we've fallen off. You're still expecting or fighting for trophies. We just don't get over the line. Like, we have the quality to fight for trophies. We just don't get over the line. Is what you're saying? Or is it a team that just scrapes fourth?
No, but what I'm saying is, we've seen what happens at Chelsea. We've seen what happened with Liverpool. It is easy to go back the other way as well.
Yeah, but
like Adam just said, Liverpool knew their midfield needed revamping 2 years ago. They waited and waited and waited.
Mm-hmm.
Car crashed into 8th, managed to finish 5th or wherever it was, and pulled the nose up slightly at the end. If City finished 5th, our fan base would go berserk.
Yeah. I think,
and they would.
Yeah,
they were going.
I think what I want to see, and it's going to lead me into the next topic though. But what I want to see is us to continue to do room remodels. I don't want us to do a full rebuild, and especially with regards to what's happening. To your point, I get it. We get 2 additional midfielders. They're able to be understudies to the Silvas and the KDBs this season, and getting prepped for life after those 2 happen to leave the club. But I think it's just a matter of finding the right prospects, because it's not those aren't easy positions to really fill. Like, getting interns for the Manchester City midfield is not an easy thing to do. Patrick goes, there's a happy clappy. JP wants to say, City will sign more. I'm confident of that. I feel there's some workings that are going under the radar. JP, I think that's the best way to move, because once we are rumored, speculated with anyone, it just gets long. But I'm in agreement with you. You have another comment, Hugo. I also think the system will change again. Is Stones now officially a midfielder? Hence, a big push for Vardiol. I think the versatility with what we have for Stone and the long-term life cycle of Vardiol at City is why we're getting him.
Yeah,
'Cause-
Gavardio's a 10-year player. He's not a
Yeah.
next season player.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I think he could show the same versatility of Stones, but he's left-footed, so we'll kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, let me do this.
Vader Games.
All right, I need to say this real quick, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it. You guys may think, hey, Vader, why are you even wasting your time on this one? But as I said early in the show, red gets emphasized a lot in the media, right? Talk sports, everything like that. All those red clubs, they get talked about highly, building the league, yada, yada, yada. And we know whether you wear the Chelsea blue jersey, you came through wearing the nice City blue jersey. They didn't want any of those teams at the table to compete against, and they don't even talk about either of us the way they talk about those Reds. At the same point, I think based off how we are portrayed in the media, it's also resorted on how our fan base move. I honestly believe, and it's not again, yes, I'm international, but I honestly believe that our City fan base. Oh, there's a knock at my door. Martin, can you talk about our City fan base as being humble? And this is what I'm going to lead into. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. No, I think what he's talking about is Manchester City. Like I said, Manchester City fans are 99% humble, we're knowledgeable, and we are patient. It's not about the trophies. It's not about whether we win or lose. It's just as long as we see the players giving 100%. The one thing that you'll see from City fans, like when Brentford came to the Etihad and they beat us, we all to a man generally turned around and went, "Congratulations, Brentford! They actually deserved it." You won't get that from United, Arsenal, Liverpool fans. They'll say that the ref screwed them or whatever else. With City fans,
Evening, Martin.
evening, you're right. Generally, we're a very humble bunch where we will say if we got beat fair and square, we got beat fair and square.
You know what it is, Martin? When we lose, we give credit. My credit is due. We admit that the better team on the day won the game. Yeah, we won our best. They were the better team, and you gotta say how it is. Not say like Arsenal who say we lost that game and X Y Z because of the ref. And because one time I was on a space and I spoke to an Arsenal fan, and then I said you guys you drew against Liverpool. What's your excuse for West Ham? They said the ref. I said to him, come on, what rubbish is this? You missed a penalty, and even before that penalty, forget about the penalty. You had several chances to kill off that game, and you failed. So I don't see how it is the ref's fault. Yeah, yes, the ref may have made a bad decision. Yes, I put that. Yes, but you cannot put the solely blame on the ref. Yeah, you've got to take the responsibility of killing teams, and if you are not killing teams, you can only blame yourself. Yes, I'm not saying the refs. Yes, we all know the refs sometimes are very ridiculous and poor with their decision making, and VAR doesn't help it. But if you are in a game and you've got several chances and you're not killing the game off, it's gonna come back to haunt you.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the way City fans generally are. It's this is why I've spent so much time trying to do this, learn about the club, learn about the fans, learn about everything else, because we are different.
Sorry.
It is slightly changing. I'm not going to lie. It's when some of our fan base is not as humble as we once were, but that's also a generational thing. Like I said to Vader earlier on, someone who's 20 has only seen nothing but success.
I know, but so
some of those aren't humble.
But it's
Martin, I'm having to explain to my son, right, who's 7 years old. He's 7 years old, right? Watched City all his life. All right, 7 years old. To watch City win almost everything. Explain to him that, sometimes, buddy, it's okay to lose. Sometimes you lose. You don't win all the time. Don't expect that this is normal. right? Don't get into your head when you're playing your own football with the academy that you're going to win all the games. Sometimes people lose, and that mentality as a 7-year-old, it's a hard thing. That's all you've seen. That's what you've known. Winning, 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 winning. You know, we as fans sometimes get caught up in the winning, 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 and not realize that, you know, there are other people who come to the stadium to play ball. They don't come to sell yam or potatoes.
Yeah.
Or saltfish, right? They come to play football. And sometimes you lose.
And this is so the part where I kind of said early in the show where I don't want the fan base to go where I'm accustomed to winning, and if the winning doesn't happen, means that it's disaster meltdown, is because as weird as it seems, sometimes I feel like as a fan base we forget that this is sport. Like, and Carl just alluded to it. We're not playing against pylons. We're playing against players or a team or an organization that are trying to get the same reward in terms of winning the game as we are. So that's what sport's all about. And I want that to kind of remain as best as we can, because we understand that it is tied to sport. There's no guarantee with regards to winning. And I also want to stress this, is that I think for the majority of us, again, I know the success is multiplying and we're growing, things are getting bigger. But the majority of us, in terms of how we've been humble, I think that gets mistaken for not being a loud or a large fan base, I should say. I think the humbleness in how we carry ourselves, winning the treble, we're not putting in the faces of everyone either. Like, we're celebrating it. We're obviously, some of us are calling us, trebles, three-peats, da-da-da. We've all tied those things as we're talking to others. But I think what gets mistaken is we aren't in your face with it, loud and obnoxious, and that's mistaken for not being a big fan base. So, I want to say why City fans are humble is because of how we've come up, how this battle to get to the top has been, how the opposition have been against us as this has happened, and also recognizing and seeing that how the other clubs carried on at their time of winning is why we don't practice that as well. And I hear what Martin's saying. There's some fans that only know City to be winning or at the top or consistent like that. But again, that should not negate being humble, despite only knowing winning. But yeah, I wanted to put this comment on because it actually was what I want to kind of say too. La Ciel Bleu goes, can't be humble to rival fans that want to bring City down. And I'm in agreement with that. I think we need to combat them as they try to do whatever.
If I may, Vader, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's be clear.
Mm.
What are rivals going to say? You don't have the Champions League. Here it is right there in the cabinet. You don't have a Premier League. We have 5 out of 6. You don't have an FA Cup. Well, here it is right there. You don't have a Carabao Cup. We have 4 or 5 in the past 5 years. Hopefully soon we get a Super Cup and the Club World Cup. What are they going to say? Oh, you don't have a treble. We have a treble. Oh, you don't have a Centurions. We have. Oh, you're not invincible. We don't care. We don't care.
You know
we
what?
don't want to be invincible. We don't care. We just want to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's one off a duck's back. It's just, it's like.
You know what, Carl? Actually, you know what record I do want? Adam Martin. I want the not conceding less than 15 goals in a Prem season. I want that record. am I greedy? Am I greedy for that?
The problem with that record.
I would.
Let me tell you the problem with that record. The problem with that record is when you win the league with 5 games left to play, right? Then the players switch off and they're going to be goals conceded. It's going to be, we have UCL to look for. There's FA Cup coming up. Play Ortega and go. Play some of the kids out there and rotate, and then they're going to concede goals.
I want that one though. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I want that.
I want the most. I want that 4-peat because just it's not. It's just purely to just shut those in a nice way. Those people across the road, a certain club who are red. So because they bang on, oh, we've done the 3P, blah blah blah, blah. We did it first, da 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 da. But once we get that 4P, they cannot open their mouths. They have to just remain silent.
Yeah.
And you know me very well, Veta. Yeah, me and Hamza are gonna be the first two people that will be on their necks and go for the kill.
But Adam, isn't that part of the problem, though, right? Isn't that part of the problem? We're trying to prove something to our rivals when there's nothing to prove.
there
Nothing
isn't
to
anything
prove.
to prove, but there is that.
Look, no, I don't look. It's not.
After
It's not
4P.
per se.
I hear that.
It's not per se that trying to say prove them wrong. I just purely just want to win that 4P, so I have something that I could. Because that's all the shit that I've been hearing. 3P. We did it first.
Let me give you one better, Adam.
Yeah.
Imagine a situation where you win not just the Premier League humbly, with hard work, with the fans, but you also have a run to the final of the UCL at Wembley.
Oh, don't do this. No, this
Oh, yes.
No, don't do this. It's too early. It's too early. No.
No, I said imagine. I said imagine.
I know, but
I said imagine.
listen. Wifey's already mad at me. Because I'm making plans to be in England during that time. So I gotta put the time out on this one because there's a lot of things hoping on it, and I don't want to mess anything up. Let me go to the comments real quick. Patrick goes, "It's crucial us older blues dinosaurs teach the younger ones to stay humble. Otherwise, we'll end up being as toxic as them Reds lots. It's what separates us from them." I agree, and I know that sometimes older fans want to kind of be quiet on the young gen. They don't want to kind of point things out, and obviously things can be pointed out without being disrespectful. But no, you gotta be a vocal dinosaur if you can, because that balance is huge. It's great, and again, I hope we don't get anywhere near the toxicity of a United and Liverpool. They are celebrating De Gea leaving their club, forgetting the seasons that he's actually salvaged them from being even more of a laughable clown jester club in past years. Yeah, he's fallen on difficult times, not at his best, but they're forgetting what he's done for them when they should have not been in some of the games that they've contested in because of his brilliance. It's absolutely disgraceful. I hope we never get there. The same with regards to Liverpool. Now there's speculation on Jordan Henderson leaving. I think he's their most winningest captain ever, and they're treating him like a piece of trash. Like,
there's this good old saying: you can come to somebody with an ocean load of. You can come with somebody with favors like the size of the ocean, yeah. But somebody will still be ungrateful. So you can give them the whole ocean,
yeah.
They will still want more. So in a sense, some people are not satisfied regardless of what you give them, regardless of what you do for them. People are ungrateful.
They are hugely ungrateful, and I think we can't get there. Big Morgan goes, "I don't mention Champs League to other fans. I just say we are champs of England. When I put Champions League ringtone on phone, my son made me change back to Blue Moon." Okay, all right. Well, I mean, yeah, we kind of been there, done that. Check off the list. It's more so with regards to recognition of being the champs of England. I'm not mad at that. Patrick goes, "They'll start saying you don't have a 4P. Neither does the history. Neither does the history of England football." Listen, there's a lot of things in the mix with what we can kind of accomplish this season. I need to be calm with it. And maybe we'll talk about this. There's maybe a segment where we're gonna maybe talk about the art of war on this channel, maybe little snippets, but to maybe get the least amount of resistance from our ops is probably the humble way to move. But
I've got a scenario for you.
Sometimes,
I've got a scenario for you, Veta. Let's say hypothetically, like let's say like we do like what Bayern Munich did, where they won 6 trophies, where with the Super Cup, the club. I think they also won the Club World Cup, and then they won like some some other trophies in their respective country. So imagine that City win the Super Cup, the Club World Cup, they win the Premier League, they go on to win the Champions League as well, they go on to win the FA Cup as well. As on top of that as well, the Carabao Cup.
That's
And
amazing.
then Adam wakes up.
If that happens, I'll go on a holiday for 3 years and just,
Oh my
just
God.
absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's unlikely to happen, right? But, I mean, come August, we're going to be Super Cup. That's me. Sorry,
Yeah, no worries.
I'll be back.
Okay, no problem. I think there's a lot, like, to what Carl I think was going to get into. There's a lot of cups that we haven't won that are in the mix with regards to this season. I think those are going to take some priority. I think the domestic ones, obviously, I believe we have the qualities to still do well. I know, and I heard this. I took the feedback from Martin that some fans, more so emphasizing the local ones that travel, will maybe feel a ways to go to a game and not get the best players to play and deliver performance-wise. So it's going to be an interesting balance this upcoming season. But all throughout, City fans, let's remain humble. Rivals, don't take our humbleness for weakness. Don't take
Hang on, you've just been talking humbleness and talking about sweeping the floor with trophies.
No, I didn't say that.
Where are we going here? Where are we going here on humbleness? That went from humbleness to sorry, we're going full Man U.
But we're gonna do our best to win. But it's gonna be
You got to remember the Super. It's a funny thing, this Super Cup, because
I've never paid attention to it. I'm gonna be real with you.
The Super Cup, let's be honest, will play no part in this season whatsoever.
Yes, it
in
will.
terms of our in terms of our outcome.
No,
in fact, I don't even think. What is it? Is it I think it's 3 days after the season kicks off. So that's the end of that one, and we move on.
Yeah, but we know that there's going to be a push to have that in the cabinet. So when you go on the next, when you go on the next trophy tour, Martin, and they ask for what was it, 25 quid? You're gonna see that you're gonna see that one on display.
Yeah, but don't forget, this is, and I'm sounding so negative tonight. I'm not. What I'm saying is, we start very slow.
No, we're not gonna be able to start slow.
So we've got to change everything now and go from the off.
We're gonna maybe we start slow in the league, but we don't start slow for the Super Cup. I don't know.
What have you just said there?
I'm just saying it's a trophy that we don't have.
Basically, we're going to be crap against Burnley, but roll it out in the Super Cup. What?
We might show rotation in the league, but we'll have to go after the Super Cup. Let me go back to.
I've got an interesting stream coming up about that when it's the time.
Okay,
because I want to know what is the bigger one, Super Cup or what is Pep's priority, the Super Cup or the Newcastle game? Which one is he going to have his eyes on the most?
Super Cup. There's more games in the league. I think he'll know. I think Pep's looking at this upcoming season and knowing that it's not going to require 90 points. I think that's how he's going to be looking at things. Let me go to Robbie in the building. Robel, my bad. Robel goes, big up, guys. City fan from London, Ontario. Yes, we have London here in Ontario. There's a lot of ties between us and England. I actually grew up in a town called Whitby. So I think Whitby's a city. Is Whitby a city or a town over in England?
Yeah, I think it's a town.
Yeah.
I think so.
Vader knows. Oh, and he also wants to ask, when you're on top of the tree, everyone wants to knock you down. Let them say what they want. At the end of the day, it's all jealousy. And this is what I want to emphasize with regards to this season. And what I said in the thumbnail, this is going to be the toughest one ever. 2023, 2024 is going to be the toughest one ever, because on every City player, manager, fan, there's a target on our backs. Everyone's looking at the City as the standard. We want to knock you down. You're absolutely right, Robel. Absolutely right.
You
Patrick,
just said we don't need 90 points.
no, I don't think the quality of how a particular team is going to play. I don't think they're going to show that level of near perfection. But
Do you not?
no, I think there's going to
I'm
be a lot of fight.
Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm overplaying Liverpool, but I think Liverpool are going to come back to be Liverpool again.
Okay, well
Same here.
that's gonna segue me into this next topic. Thank you very much. Let me do this proper.
Vader game.
I don't think actually, I'm gonna confidently say I know that clubs did not expect the Saudi League to be as aggressive as they are. And I think with how the Saudi League is moving, the players that are being rumored to or being targeted to join is going to have such an impact on the other remaining leagues, right? And I'm going to focus here on the Prem League, that I think it's going to balance things out in a certain way. All right, because it's taking certain quality away, and I think the latest rumor is Fabinho. I think has been approached by targeted by the Saudi League. To Martin's point, and Mahrez will speak to us as well, and Jordan Henderson. But as Martin was talking about, the clubs maybe to kind of consider with regards to this upcoming season, who are we going to fight it out with? Liverpool got McAllister. They also got the name that I always butcher,
Zabozlai.
Zabosla. They've got those two additions, but if they happen to get a Jordan Henderson and a Fabinho exit and a possible Thiago, then where is Liverpool in terms of, are they going to be that threat that we kind of expect? Arsenal, they've had their additions as well. If they maintain and keep Partey, I think if they keep him, that's a huge plus for them. If they lose him, I think they lose some depth. We're obviously having our changes, and it's rumored that Riyad Mahrez may be going. So again, I think the fight amongst us is going to be there, right? I don't doubt Martin in saying Liverpool is going to be in that mix that we're going to be fighting it out with. I think Arsenal is going to be in that mix to fight it out with. But because some players are being poached and going to Saudi, I think that kind of levels things out in a certain way. I think we'll butt heads, we'll fight it out, but will it be the near perfect squad quality going after 90 plus points? That's where I kind of have my doubts on it. And I do think that the Saudi League is great for football. I think the more opportunity for players to be able to play, to be able to obviously have careers, it's good for the sport.
You know what is better? Like what I like, how I like to see it is that, you know, the Saudi League is somewhat beneficial for the Premier League in a sense where, for the teams in a sense where, let's say if they have old like players who they somewhat don't want to give a contract to, and say the Saudis linked to them, they could somewhat say cash on that player and sell him, you know, and then use that money to go and say purchase other players. In a sense, somewhat they helping themselves by selling players to the Saudi League, you know. So
Yeah.
I believe it's in a sense it's a win-win situation for both parties. The Saudi League somewhat gets them the exposure for their league and etc. and everything, and in a sense it also helps the Premier League teams in a sense where they somewhat will get more money, than per se what they would for that player in a sense where if it's
Sorry,
a
I'm pulling back now.
European team, they would not get that much in a sense. But if say these outsiders who they somewhat will be willing to pay more than what other European teams will be.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think Carl's back joining us. Awesome to have you back. I think the fact that they can sell these players. The players are able to, some extend their career, some get paid more than that they ever would, is good. But it's also, if they have the exit of a Fabinho in terms of quality, they're not going to replace a like for like. They're probably going to have to go younger and look for a player that's going to develop what I love. And this is more credit. This is great advertising with regards to our academy, and what it means for any aspiring young talent to want to have a career in football. But Lavia is on the lips of every rival club. United, Arsenal, Liverpool, even Chelsea at a time wanted Lavia. And what does a recruiter for the Manchester City academy have to do? They don't have to do anything. Lavia is being spoken about. Da 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 da. You know what I have to say? Lavia is one of ours. Have your kid come this way. He's got a great future for being wanted from clubs down the road. Lavia is great advertising for the academy, and I think the fact that the Saudi league is now in the mix.
I think it's good. I think it's good and bad though for me.
Nope,
mate.
nope, not bad. But let me hear your bad. How's the bad? What's the bad?
Oh, right. Am I just you just shooting down all my points tonight?
No,
Forget it.
No, I said no. I agree. I think it is good and bad. Let me hear the bad because
Well, buddy, I think it's good for the money in the football. I think it's really good that there's a new league. I have no problem with the likes of Henderson, Fabinho, Koulibaly all going over there. Mahrez, good luck to him.
Mm-hmm.
My issue becomes when I see a Ruben Neves going, a Milinkovic Savic going, a potential Bernardo Silva going.
Okay.
That's when I'm like, not sure on that.
I know what you mean. You're like somewhat saying the players in their prime that are going over there.
Because they're not going for football reasons. Let's be straight right now. They're not going for football reasons.
Because the quality of football is going to be.
The quality of football's not there.
Yeah, but every player has their motivation, right? I mean,
no, I understand that, but I understand that everyone has their motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But Martin, in a sense,
you're not going to win trophies.
I don't blame the players, Martin. In a sense, in a sense where
Adam. I mean, the reality is, Ruben Neves, for example, let's take Ruben Neves. Is Ruben Neves going to win a trophy at Wolves? No.
I don't think so.
He could go somewhere else.
Who wants him?
No, there will be a team in the Premier League that would have had him. Yeah, of course there would.
Wait, hold on. This is
let's pull that string. And this is the Guardiola problem. Right? This Martin is the Guardiola problem, right? Is if Ruben Neves goes to United, is he winning the Premier League? Probably not. So wins an FA Cup. Or he gets to go to Saudi, make 25-30 million a year, set up for life. He's got to go.
And that's fine. But all right, we'll switch it around. Kylian Mbappe got offered the world at PSG. Yeah. The Kingdom of Qatar, the Kingdom Freedom of France, and wants out because of what's going on, and he's not going to win the Champions League there.
Yeah.
So he's got to remove to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. A Milinkovic Savic and a Ruben Neves can go to other clubs and win an FA Cup. In one breath, we sit there and we say about Harry Kane being this loyal person but scores goals by the bucket load, but won't have a medal to do it.
Yeah, but Harry's different.
But Ruben Neves or a Milinkovic Savic, who let's be honest here, most top European clubs wanted 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was getting valued for 80-90 million quid. Should not be going to Saudi Arabian League.
I see. I don't disagree with you, but the reality is, what's his name? Bastoni. What's his name from Inter? Who went from Inter?
Bastoni.
Somebody went from Inter.
No, wasn't it support?
I'm not sure because one of the Inter players left and he joined Saudi League.
Someone left Inter for Saudi. Some top Inter Milan guy. And the reality is he's probably thinking, look, Inter selling Onana, he's going to go. We're not going to win the Champions League. I already won the Serie A. What is left for me to do? I go make my bread. No, Bernardo's not going to go to Saudi Arabia. He's not going to Saudi Arabia. I mean, if the issue is with his wife complaining about Manchester, what's she going to do in Saudi? I don't know. It is what it is.
I've got a question. Do you think on Bernardo Silva? Do you think he'll go to PSG.
Why would he go
If
to
say,
PSG
let's
to
say
do what?
like a scenario where say PSG do come into City and they pay the asking price what City want for Bernardo, do you think he would go?
Why would he go to PSG, Paris?
Brozovic. It
I
was
don't know.
Brozovic.
Brozovic. I said
Yeah.
Brozovic. Yeah.
Because why I say he look, I don't know how Bernardo is. I don't know where if he wants to go to PSG. At some point, I don't know what with Bernardo. One point he said he wants to go to, but he's linked with Barcelona, then PSG, then another club, then this club, then that. But
Well, Adam, the reality is that, and we haven't heard a peep from Bernardo about the fact that I want to go to Barcelona. What we've heard is lots of agent talk, lots of ITKs, lots of people who are saying he's going to go here, he's going to go there, he's going to go there. Now, Bernardo himself has not done himself any favors, right?
Mhm.
By kind of dodging the question and
Can I just jump in there? What do you mean by quotes? Because he has said quotes, but he hasn't said.
I don't think there's a quote where he said, I want to
But
go
direct.
to Barcelona.
Yeah, just direct.
There was in January.
He
never
mentioned
said I want to
Barcelona
go to
by
Barcelona.
name.
Yeah, you look at the quote because I put the quote up and it was all in quote. He come out and basically said, "The club know my stance. I've told the club what I want.
Mhm.
I've told the club what I want to do. There was the possibility of a transfer. It didn't emerge. I have to stay quiet until the summer now."
Yeah, but that's not direct though. He didn't say, I want to go to Barcelona. You know, and he can dodge around the issue and talk about the issue.
Come on,
No, but
we're not that naive now. Are we?
I'm not saying we're naive. I'm just saying that.
We do have to take that point. Do we have to do that?
It's sounding a little. No, this is my thing with Bernardo. If you love Bernardo, you're going to look at every curb and every wall.
The reality of the Bernardo situation is this, right? He has no power right now. The power right now relies with the club. And until they get an offer that they are satisfied with, he stays. Now, in a year's time, Bernardo may have 1 year left on his contract. The power switches to Bernardo because now he has 1 year left. He's signing the contract. He has to leave. Unless the club get the money that they feel they deserve for him, he and his agent should shut up and play ball. That's the bottom line. Or wait till 1 year's time and then he goes on a free, or then they can negotiate. The power right now belongs to the club.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think the club will let him go on a free.
Then they'll sell him next year.
And he's going to be sold. I think just to go back to with regards to the Saudi League and why I think it's the greatness with regards to what it means to football is these every player obviously they have finite careers, right? They're not going to be playing forever. They've got to maximize what they can in the moment. Some have got to make the choice whether it's going to be money versus the football. I think the players making the choice, obviously, it's more enticing. The league themselves have to pay at a higher level to entice the players away from things that are already established, and that's no different than everyday life, right? For new startups or things that are on the come up, you're probably gonna have to, you pay a little extra for that talent to bring them over to your side. So, I'm cool with the Saudi League. I think it's going to be good to kind of watch how the landscape kind of changes, where players go. I think if we do things right and we continue to, grow our own vegetables and fruits and vegetables, then we'll be able to get the talent and kind of stay ahead of things. If Mahrez goes, we'll see what that means in terms of whether someone comes in. To Martin's point early in the show, he said only if a Bernardo leaves does he think another player comes in. Somewhat in agreement with that. I think where we need that strength, I think we're covered defensively. I think we're covered in attack. It's really in the midfield. I guess we could argue we need a winger. We need someone. But we can discuss that on another show. I want to point out, just going back to an earlier comment, Patrick had said he's not bothered about Wembley. Munich Champions League Final 2025 is going to be mega. If any of you have done any away day in Germany, it's mint. Been to Germany. I've never been there during an away game.
Wait, you should go there because
Away game.
I've been to Stuttgart because my missus is she supports Stuttgart, but that bloody the German fans, Yeah, the German fans are one of the best fans. They are the best. Just the atmosphere, like just like the welcoming
No, I
that they
believe you.
have for every single person, regardless of where you are from, and like they'll just welcome you with open arms, you've been there with them every single time that whole life,
I'm with you. I was there in a different capacity. I've been overseas with regards to track meets, and them as a fan base and how they carry on was epic. I could only imagine what they were.
I think that depends on clubs though. It depends on certain clubs because I've been over there. There's certain clubs that are vile.
Fair.
Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. Some of them are still in the dark ages. Some clubs, sadly.
Fair. I'll put this comment up from Patrick. I think he's just messing with you a little bit, Martin. Dre P
I will
goes.
support.
Oh, he goes.
I'll have a look and then I'll sack it.
He goes back to Happy Clappy, please, Martin. I'll be chatting to you for a bit in a couple.
Patrick, if you're not careful, Martin's gonna probably send you your P45 and P60 through the post.
Dre P goes. Even the way Man United fans are protesting so heavily against their owners, but in the same breath, crying foul at City owners because they invested in the club and surrounding areas. There's a lot of hypocrisy. A lot, Dre P, and it's only going to get worse. Go ahead.
I'm really gonna sound negative now, and I don't mean to.
Hey, Martin, go ahead.
I really am. Do you know part of me reservation on the Saudi League is I need to see what involvement this PIF have and how it relates into Newcastle. Because if Sheikh Mansour, for example, started in Abu Dhabi League, it would be all over every newspaper, in every world, in every Talk Sport column, in every Sky Sports column, in every column going, that it was some form of.
Because
what's the word?
Point.
I think I have.
Martin has a point because the four
but
big.
What is the word I'm looking for?
I think
this is why I'm just reserving judgment.
Because the four big teams over there are all owned by the PFA, that Saudi thing. And I don't know if you guys seen a report where, I don't know how true it is, but allegedly that Ruben Neves is going to go there and then allegedly be loaned out to Newcastle for 2 seasons. I don't know if that's true, but that's what the rumored are.
No, it may not. That's what I've heard. I've heard there is a loophole. So, for example, they could go and get Benzema for the season if they want to play that game.
Yeah.
Very much in the same way
like inside trading.
Yeah, a bit like we did with Lampard, but on a very much smaller scale.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I don't know if that. And by the way, that's not jealousy or anything. Newcastle have not got FFP to go willy-nilly at the moment. Could this be a workaround? I don't know. It's something I need to see it develop in the next 2 years and what involvement Newcastle have or the owners have in terms of it all.
I'm with you on that.
Does that make sense? And I'm not sounding that to be salty or anything.
No. I think they're facts. You're speaking facts. But I think what Newcastle fans forget, and we've seen this with Paris Saint-Germain, where they had Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar, and one F all. Why? Because they don't have the structure or the manager that can lead them to victory. We've seen United spend billions, more than City, on players. Alexis Sanchez, Paul Pogba, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro. I can go on and on and on. More money than we've spent. We've seen Chelsea spend 600 million in half a season. Enzo Fernandez, 100+ million pounds, and finished 12th. Why? It's not about how much you can spend to buy players. It's about, do you have the flywheel of excellence to deliver on the assets that you buy? And if you don't have that, Newcastle can buy everybody they want in the whole world. They won't win jack if they don't address those things in place.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line.
That's a fair point. Now we kind of the Saudi League is going to be something that we're going to have to talk more about in upcoming weeks as well. I don't think that's going to be going away. we need to pay close attention to, because I do think that it is a leveler. Because if some quality talent, even if it's on the latter stage of their career, their experience, the depth that they bring to a squad, if they happen to be leaving some of our ops or even ourselves, I think it does balance some things out. So we'll have to pay close
Sorry to
attention.
cut you off. I got a question. Do you think like now that players here, like say players such as like young players or say players in their prime, yeah, now that they see that the Saudi league is throwing money left, right, and center, and let's just say like a scenario, let's say hypothetically, let's just say like say Liverpool are linked with a player, but yet the Saudis also are linked with a player with the same
This
player.
is what I was about to say.
Do you think, yeah? Look, I could see a scenario where a player somewhat just takes the back seat and somewhat like chooses between it and somewhat says, you know what they are offering me is gonna outweigh 10 times, or if not
Yeah.
100 times more than what I would say receive if I'm saying yes. Look, I may win trophies and everything, all of that at Liverpool, but what I would receive at Saudi, yeah, will somewhat set me for life, generational wealth. You know,
I got you.
when I have kids, my kids will have money, and their kids will have money too. In a sense, I feel like there could be a scenario where you see them competing for say players in their prime, or if not even the young players as well.
That's what I meant by I want to see it in a year or two. I want to see how it develops. Because what I don't want to say is like Adam has this summed that up so perfectly. Say we go into the now. This is an example before everyone has a meltdown.
Yeah.
For example, in 2 years we go into contract negotiation with Erling Haaland.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Al Hilal come in and go, we'll give you £1 million a week.
Mm-hmm.
We've got no regulations over there in terms of Premier League finances and everything else. They don't have all that yet.
Yep.
They will at a time. Every club is now that could happen to. All it will take is the first player to do it.
Well, this is what we talked about,
and then we roll.
Yeah, and
it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword for me.
It's not a double-edged sword. It's the reality of the situation. We talked about the cheese has moved, right? Later earlier on today, the cheese has moved. So UEFA have to adapt. Clubs have to adapt, right, to make sure that and this is where we talk about. This is weird, man. We talk about the Super League, the European Super League. Remember that Super League thing?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Remember the discussion about wages and income and how the Super League was supposed to generate 10x what the Premier League can do? Well, guess what? Saudi has created a Super League of money, and they're taking your players away. And if you don't like, if you like UEFA, don't change or keep playing this game of using fans to kill the Super League, because guess what? You're going to lose your players to Saudi over money. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Is that not sad, though? Is that not sad?
It is sad. It's very sad. But unfortunately, it's the reality of the modern game. It's about money. And the Saudi have become disruptors to the entire global game, except for Lionel Messi. Right? But the whole Messi deal is the US came out with a deal that Messi could not refuse. Messi makes the exact kind of money that he was going to make at Saudi. They offered him $1 billion, Saudi, Messi. The US gave him equivalent of that in deals that would last him a lifetime. Every single subscription on Apple TV for the MLS games, Messi gets a cut. Every shirt that's sold, not Miami, every shirt, DC United, NYCFC, he gets a cut. They're talking about how do we protect Messi in games, referees. Change him. When he retires, he gets his own team, like David Beckham got his own team. Right? So you have to think outside the box, UEFA and Premier League. You can't use the old models in this new environment where money is flushing the whole place out. You have to change.
Right.
See, this is kind of what I was trying to. It's a weird one. This is such a bigger canvas, such a bigger scenario that one day it's too big to go in now. Correct. But the simple fact is yes, I understand. This is my thing with the Saudi thing. To compete, Europe are going to have to go with the Super League.
Yes.
But then that kills football over there dead.
Wait. Why do you say
And
that?
that's
I don't.
well,
you think
later. You see Manchester City fans on a Community Shield at a 5:30 kickoff on a Sunday boycott.
Yeah, I just think.
What do you think they're going to do with the Super League?
But I don't think one league. This is where it kind of gets too extreme. I don't think one league can then combat against the 4 other leagues, and then
They can with their money, Veta.
Well, with the money they can.
You got to remember, Veta, the UEFA and the Premier League are all under a financial fair play rule. So they can only go to a certain. They only can go like 70, 80, or 90, 80, 70 within a 3-year gap.
Do you remember what happened?
Saudi don't have that.
Do you remember, Veta, the fight between Live Golf and the PGA?
yes, yeah,
Okay, big fight. All the quarrel and the wahala.
mm-hmm.
Guess what happened overnight?
My intelligent viewers actually brought that up in the comments. But yeah,
Guess what happened overnight?
they
Live
went
Golf,
from
backed by the Saudis, bought the whole damn thing.
mm-hmm.
What happens now? So if you think these guys are not serious, right? These guys are hella serious.
This is not China. This is not the Chinese Super League pretending at it, because these have got the money to back. But until they get regulated, it's a very unbalanced playing field. And like I said, all it's going to take is one player to go.
This is where
one superstar, and the door then gets opened.
This is the weakness of FIFA, because FIFA is a federation, right? It's a confederation of federations. It's basically all the FAs in the world come together under this umbrella called FIFA, right? And there are cracks between each one, right? There is no FFP from FIFA.
Right.
There's no unity, basically.
Right. So FIFA is going to have to figure out a way, right? If they want to make sure this doesn't become out of hand, salaries and wages and all this, figure out a way to manage this as a confederation. Unfortunately for FIFA, it's all based on votes. And Saudi have money.
Mm-hmm.
Saudi has influence. Who's going to vote against them? Most of the African nations probably won't. Most of the Middle East nations probably won't. And they have a lot of nations.
Yeah.
How do they manage that? Think about the World Cup in Qatar and World Cup in Russia.
Yeah.
As Martin mentioned, this is big. This is beyond we're talking about is big geopolitics in play.
This is what I mean. At some point, someone's going to lose somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone is going to lose somewhere.
I wanna go deep on this.
That's why I said it's a whole different show, ball game.
I think it'd be interesting if we bring up the pros and cons, and we bring up like what the landscape would look like. Like
I said, I'm only saying it because I'm looking at it from a smaller point of view. Like I told you, the City fans have had enough. Going to London at 5:30 on a Sunday, they've had enough.
Yeah.
They ain't going to accept going to Milan for a game week in, week out, or Madrid for a game week in, week out, or to America. And that's no offense to it, just won't fly with the fans here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to have to be a summit. There's going to be a come to Jesus moment at some point where something's going to have to give. It may be 10 years down the line. I don't know. Something has to give, because UEFA are trying to straighten football out and get everyone on a financial playing field where everyone is playing within their own financial game. And Saudi Arabia have come in with pocket aces and gone, here we go, lads, let's up it and go all in. And we've gone, what the hell are we doing now?
To Martin's point, right? Think about what the new UEFA rule is on FSR. Let's be clear. And what Martin's talking about, this is an education for those who should be thanking these guys who are here, right? UEFA said that, okay, the new rule, the new FFP says that you cannot spend more than 90%, 80%, 70% of your wages, or your income and wages. Okay? Baseline is in 2 years' time, you cannot spend more than 70% of your income, what did you earn from sales and from commercial, on wages. Okay,
Mhm.
so wages is the one, right? So which you have to increase your income or reduce your wages. Saudi comes in and says, I'm going to have Bernardo Silva and I'm going to pay him 25 million a year because I have no cap. All of a sudden, the baseline for that wage has gone up by tenfold.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, the revenue streams for UEFA have not increased as much, but the global wages have. All of a sudden, how do clubs now make sure they're compliant
Right.
with 70? You following me?
Yeah. I see. Yeah.
Disruption.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. There has to be, there's going to be a meeting at some point where they're going, because trust me now, the Premier League and all the leagues around Europe are closely watching Saudi Arabia.
Mhm.
In terms of, at the moment, a Koulibaly, a Ronaldo past the prime,
Yeah.
that isn't a painful thing. When they start knocking for the superstars over there, and that's what I meant by the Neves and the Milinkovic Savic thing. That's just the start. It then takes the next big one.
I'm with
The
you.
next big one.
I'm with you. And again, we're going to revisit this conversation because I think it's also going to what needs to be closely paid attention to is whether right now the Saudi League and its experiment. Obviously, there are match-going fans. I think what's going to be interesting to watch is whether it gets the attention and the eyeballs for others to want to watch it outside of that close proximity with regards to the league. But I do want to come back to this. I think it's a fascinating. It is a fascinating conversation. The topics that we discussed today on the show, we talked about the Reds never and still don't want to see Manchester City at the table, and we also talked about how is there a better way to dictate sitting at the table than to say I am a three-peat treble winner, undefeated throughout the Champions League run. Is that something is there a better way to say I deserve to be at the table? I don't. I think that's the best way to do it. And it kind of shuts up a lot of the rivals and what they had to say. We also talked about why City fans are humble and why I think our humbleness gets mistaken for being a small club or being a club without what they want to say spirit. You'd be dumb to think that. But I think our humbleness plays a big part of it. And what we're noticing is there's a youth within the fan base that only know winning and whether the humbleness will remain. One thing we do know, whether you're old school, whether you're a dinosaur, you do have a part to play to just remind the young ones, the youngins, on why we remain humble and why we don't want to be like those toxic Reds. And then we concluded the show. We talked about the Saudi League, great for football, questions that we may have, what might this mean with regards to the rest of the leagues and the talent within world football and where they're going. There's other topics that unfortunately I didn't get a chance to get to. Oh no, actually we did talk a little bit about players' careers, finite, money versus football, as we also talked about the Saudi League. But on the next show, maybe in CIA that we're looking to do on Sunday, we'll discuss Arsenal and them tarnishing their transfer reputation. 9 days between them having gotten a deal secured with Declan Rice to him not even being announced. Timber also in the
You
wait.
know,
Can we talk about that?
Vente,
I would love to, but I actually do have to go.
Vente, you know what would be
man.
hilarious? You know
Five
what would be
minutes.
hilarious?
5
You
minutes.
imagine at the end of it that it'll collapse.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, Marty and Adam, let me ask you a question. I mean, just help me out here, okay? And I put this out on Twitter yesterday and in the WhatsApp chat. Declan Rice's contract ends 2024. I heard he has an extension. He has a right to extend it if he wants to. 2024. Arsenal bid 75 million for him, first of all, right? City come in at 80 something. Arsenal go to 105. We know that in January, Declan Rice has 6 months left on his contract, which means he can go for 65, maybe 70 million then, or he can wait out his contract and go for free in June next year. Why are Arsenal paying 105 million for him when he has 8 months, 9 months left to go on a free contract? Why? And is that a factor in the fact that nothing's been signed yet? Are Arsenal thinking, having second thoughts around why are we spending 30 million, 40 million overall valuation for this player? We know in January we can get him for that same price.
Because apparently, the upfront, I think it's 33 million.3 or something like that rubbish. I don't know what that's for, but apparently that's what I saw. It's like 33 million.3. I don't know what that is. I think that's the upfront cost or whatever the hell. I'm not sure what it is.
The down payment.
Yeah, the down payment.
I mean, the down payment is down payment. Think about the total cost of the transaction. You can pay 60 million in January or maybe 70 million in January versus paying 105 right now. Why?
I think it's because they need him now. See, according to I saw that, but Ornstein come out yesterday and said that the deal's done. It is fully done. They're just waiting on some very minor things because of the size of the deal, but it will get done.
But 105 million pounds for a guy you can get for free next year, or for half price in January. Because I
think West Ham were like, you want him, you buy him now.
But Vader, the question is Declan Rice enough to move the needle from second to first and win the Champions League?
Yeah.
Is it worth the extra 50 million that you're paying?
Absolutely not.
No, but I agree. Again, there's a reason why we all thought that evaluation way too high. But I think in Arsenal eyes, I think it's kind of like, the saying, you strike when the iron's hot. I think they think that their window is closing, right? So for their window to be effective, they got to do it now. And when you make decisions out of urgency like that, they don't bode well in terms of long-term success and consistency. I think they feel they need to get them now because, again, Liverpool weren't at their fullest strength. And will they? Who knows? United, second year for a manager, where are they going to be at? Chelsea. I think Arsenal are looking at it. Let's get him now. I know he's bought over what many would think he's valued at, but let's go for it. And
yeah. I think the final thought on this is I think what's probably happening in the boardroom is that Edu and these guys are saying, look, okay, we may not win the league, but Declan Rice gives us top 4 again. And there's revenue in that.
Yeah, there's revenue in that, but the pressure that's now fall onto the club and the manager with how aggressive they spent and going out and getting him is huge. I also want to say this, and this is why I want to point out the tarnishing part is because this holdup, it's being done in the dark. There's not much detail to even manage the relationship that Arsenal should want to maintain with West Ham. You never want to do this to make it like.
Depends though, because how long did Grealish take? And that was a release clause.
Grealish didn't take this long.
It did. I remember this. If you remember, we triggered the release clause, and it was about 10 days later before it got officially done. Because remember, he was still. Well, if you remember, we triggered the release clause, and he was still at training for Aston Villa. Because we were all going, if we triggered the release clause, why is he training with Villa?
Yeah, but
remember,
there's also the difference with regards to how he were to say goodbye to the club, right? Like that was the.
Yeah, I think it's just the magnitude of the deal. I think someday look at Gavardio. How long have we been sat? I mean, bloody hell! I don't know what they're negotiating. Are they negotiating who's buying dinner for each other or what? They've been sat at this negotiating table for 2.5, 3 weeks. And they're dilly-dallying over what? 5 million at the minute? It's like, where are we going here? In fact, it's been that long. Leipzig have even had time to sign 2 replacements. And we're still not agreeing a fee yet.
It's like when you go to the shop and you've got, say, a person in front of you, he's just like stingy guy, and he's got like pennies, not them coins, like, and he's out there counting the like 1p, 2p, 3p, 4p, just to pay up. And you're there looking at him like, oh bloody hell, why the hell are you doing this? That's what pretty much it is.
It's like one of them auditors. It's like one of them auditors. Or one of them auditors coming in with the foreign money or coins, and you sat there going, oh.
I think I think obviously a lot needs to be done behind the scenes for the deal to be done. I think the lack of transparency doesn't bode well. I think Arsenal, they should be in front of this to best manage this because they look amateur in my opinion. Maybe it's just a microscope that they're under, but it's not a good look.
I got a question. Do you think the deal will collapse? Let's just say a scenario.
No,
It probably won't.
no, I don't think it'll collapse.
No, it's too far down the line.
Yeah.
If it does, we'll be here.
I want to point out the last comment from Leciel Bleu. He goes, Ornstein is a proxy and lies. A lot of these journalists manipulate. They got to get clicks, engagements. I think also there's a lot of counterintelligence. There's a lot of throw others off the trail with regards to what the club do with sharing information, but it's a fine line. These
It makes me laugh when people do this.
yeah.
I'm not saying anything against Sal Blue, but there is only journalists told us about Josko Gavardio, but we're all believing that one. But we're not believing it. It's what makes me laugh. It is, let's be honest, humans as fans, we believe what we want to believe and we laugh at what we don't want to believe. And it's like, come on.
Martin, don't get triggered by this. Marvin, relax. It was a good game. We'll get back to it at another time. But
what are we talking about when Veta got lucky?
let's not do this. I have to go and I can't.
No, we're doing this. You can give me 10 seconds because I'm telling you now, the crossbar's still shaking. I hit it that many times.
Marvin,
luckiest player in the world, this one. He got owned. I battered him. The stats were embarrassing.
Jonathan David is all I got to say. But
here we go. Oh, sorry. Do you want to dive some more and get another penalty? Let's dive a bit more. Soft ass ref.
Martin, you know what's funny? Veta's normally the calm one, but today he's actually rubbing it in you.
He's triggering me today. He's triggering me today. Anyway, I've got a show to prepare for.
Exactly. And I wanted to leave enough time to shout that out. So please know the channel details are in the description of this channel. The Mancunian Way, he's got a show later on tonight, 9:30, right?
Yep. I am handing the reins over to the Mancunian Way community. We're doing a live phone-in show. So as long as you are a subscriber of the channel, click the link, come in, have your say.
All right.
And please be respectful. Don't get us kicked off the air in 5 minutes.
Fair enough. Martin's gonna have a fantastic show. I think first of its kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a lot of persuading with everybody else to get this done.
Yeah. So that's gonna be huge. Make sure you tune into that. Don't miss that. Adam, fantastic on Twitter. Check out his spaces. Follow him so that you know whether he's a speaker or whether he's in a space. He's always in there representing Manchester City. And Pitch Points, Gundalorian, Carl, fantastic channel in partnership with True City Fan. Go in depth. When there's certain topics that are really impactful and there needs to be a little bit of an education amongst the fan base, you want to make sure you tune into that channel. That's
Carl, we need to do a Saudi Arabian show. We need to sit down and go over this.
I'm ready. Let's talk about it. Let's get some let's do a Friday night social or Thursday night social and talk about it. Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. Marvin goes, love you all. Peace, guys. And I want to say the same. Thank you to every one of you in the comments and on the channel. If you're watching this live, awesome. I appreciate it. If you happen to be watching this at a later time when it's convenient for you, thank you as well. Every like, every view means a lot to me. And this was Why Always Me, episode 87. EPL season 2023-2024 will be the toughest, but we're ready for it. We're up for it. It'll be the toughest we'll ever face, and the Saudi League and its impact will be a later conversation. You heard it here. Pitch Points, Mancunian Way, they're going to bring this up as another detailed show. So thank you all for tuning in. I do have to run. Got to go get the kids from camp. But love as always. Thanks for tuning in.
Get into 500. Share this around.
Let's do that. And if you're looking for highlights of my match between me and Martin, I'll make sure to share those.
Bye all.